Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be taking a look at an article from Yahoo and AFP. It's written by Jennifer Gonzalez Corvera-Rubias. I probably butchered that last name. Now I just put up an article yesterday about the Caravan coming to the US and Trump talking about, hey, we are going to put our troops at the border, we're going to secure the border, and you ain't coming in. Well, thanks to that, we now have them halted, and they ain't coming any further. They've been stopped at the Guatemalan-Mexican border. Now, not only that, but they've set up this whole thing where they're going, they're going to have camps there where the people are going to be taken in. They're going to be going through their asylum claims. They're getting the UN involved if any of them have valid asylum claims. Once they're processed, any nation that's part of this UN thing, organization, these people will be able to go to one of those countries, which I don't see many of them qualifying. Unless the UN gets sleazy about their okaying it. But a lot has happened because Trump said, look, I'm going to put the troops at the border. I'm sick of this shit. I will cut the money that we give you on the note of aid. I will do all these things if you do not stop this. And look what happens. Boom, stopped. Ciudad Hidalgo, Mexico. I know I butchered that. Thousands of migrants forced their way through Guatemala's northwestern border Friday and flooded onto a bridge leading to Mexico, where riot police battled them back, halting their trek toward the United States, at least temporarily. No, they're stopped. Okay, they've got the UN getting in there. They're going to process these people, and they're either going home, or if they have a valid asylum claim, going to one of these countries that's involved in this UN organization. That's how it's going to be. The caravan of mainly Honduran migrants whose journey has triggered escalating anti-immigrant rhetoric from U.S. President Donald Trump surged through a series of police lines and barricades up to the final fence on Mexico's southern border. I'm sorry, but if you force your way through a series of police lines and barricades and the final fence and all that other shit, you're not fucking immigrants. You're a fucking mob. Okay? I know you leftist shitbags don't want to hear that M word, but like Antifa, they're a mob. They're not immigrants. Okay? You can't call them immigrants. You can't call them asylum seekers. They're not. Those things are one or the other. They're not mutually exclusive. So you got to make a choice. Are they immigrants? Are they asylum seekers? I say neither. They're illegal aliens. They are illegals. They are criminals. They violated multiple countries' sovereignty to get to this point. I mean, this is ridiculous. When they will try to frame it like that. Oh, well, these migrants, these immigrants, they did all this violent shit. They surged through a series of police lines, meaning they bum rushed a bunch of cops and their barricades. Yeah, that's a fucking mob. They're at the far end of the bridge over the Suchiat River. Suchiat, I don't know, I'm probably butchering that, which forms the western part of the Mexican-Guatemala border. They hurled rocks and other objects at hundreds of riot police who responded with rubber bullets and tear gas. Oh yeah, migrants. They're throwing fucking rocks. They got so violent that the cops had to start lobbing rubber bullets in their direction, along with tear gas. This does not look good for the left. But you see, they think Antifa looks good for them these days with doing this type of infantile fucking stupid shit. So of course they probably think this looks good for them. This right here, and they're reporting on what's going on here, proves Trump right. It's going to help him and the Republicans. It's going to help him overall and the Republicans during the midterms. Because they're going to read this shit and be like, well, Trump is right. I really don't want these fucking people coming into our country if they're acting like this because they got stopped to try to come, stop from going any further at the Mexican border. Imagine if they'll do that just because they couldn't make it into the U.S. Imagine what they would do if they actually got into the country. Oh yeah, they're going to be upstanding fucking people, my fucking hairy ass. Multiple migrants, federal police, and journalists were wounded. Yeah, and I'm sure the federal police and the journalists were wounded by these migrants, these supposed migrants, these fucking illegals, this fucking mob of shitbags who want to come up here to the United States and get free shit. We're running away from violence, and we arrive here, and they just hit us with more. So up to 28-year-old Mara Ornelas Cazares, who was nursing her baby but had lost her other two children, aged 10 and 15, in the turmoil. First off, she shouldn't be fucking breeding. If she is stupid enough to take a fucking infant that she's nursing on a fucking trek like this, she should not be breeding. If she loses her 10 and 15-year-old in the turmoil, she should not have had children. Because she did not have the intelligence to go, you know what? I've got 3 kids. This is something risky. I probably shouldn't take them on a trip like this. I have no sympathy. Sob away. Wah, fucking wah. Running away from violence. So you get into a violent mob. Real friggin' intelligent. If you weren't in a violent mob, this shit wouldn't have happened. If you weren't there in the first place, you wouldn't have been involved in the shit that the violent mob had caused. And your 2 kids wouldn't be missing. I don't know what happened. I thought we were going to cross peacefully, and then suddenly there were rocks flying and tear gas, she told AFP. Oh my God. She just thought that the country was going to fucking just let her in to cross up to the United States because she thinks she's fucking entitled and privileged and should be able to bring her 3 kids into the United States, collect welfare collect additional benefits because of each kid, get all free meals for the kids at school, free books, free all this shit, free health care, free this, free that. No, you're not fucking special. Quit your crying, go find your kids, and go back home. That's how it should be. She thinks she has a right to cross through these multiple countries and into the United States. She's making it clear when she's saying what she's did here. We thought we were going to be able to cross peacefully. We thought they were just going to let us in because we're special. Mexican authorities insisted that the undocumented migrants would have to file asylum claims one at a time in order to enter the country. Yeah, and then they have to be validated, and the UN has to make sure that it is going to be part of that. They're going to be housing these people down there at the southern border. This is going to be fun and interesting to watch. See, the U.S. has Mexico by the balls when it comes to trade and shit like that. Because Mexico likes those U.S. dollars flowing across the border from trade. And they also like the aid. So basically, yeah. They're going to work with us on this. And it's going to be funny. Because see, when you say have a previous president go, oh, yeah, stop them at the southern border. They go, oh, say stop. We say stop. Or we'll say stop again. And the shit would just be happening because there was no repercussions for not following through with stuff like that. Now there is, because Trump's in office and he'll follow through what he says he'll do. They began letting them through in a trickle. First, women and children who are ushered onto trucks and taken to shelters. The migrants are generally fleeing poverty and insecurities in Honduras, where powerful street gangs rule their turf with brutal violence. Okay, why don't they stay there? Maybe join the policia, contribute to their community, and help deal with the crime. And I love it. They're migrants. Make up your mind. Are they refugees or are they migrants? Because you're playing it off like they're refugees with saying they're fleeing poverty, blah, 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 blah. But then you're calling them migrants before you do that. And here's the thing. They don't have a right to, go to another country because their country sucks. That's not how life works. You just don't get a free fucking ride on that. With a homicide rate of 43 per 100,000 citizens, Honduras is one of the most violent countries in the world. Yes, and look at what happens when a bunch of those Hondurans get told that they're not entitled, that they're not privileged, and that they're not going to just flow through Mexico into the United States. They spurg out and they cause a bunch of shit and get violent. Do you really think we want to have these type of people entering the United States? I sure as shit don't. No way in fucking hell do I want people like that coming into this country. Chaotic scenes. As night fell, many migrants prepared to camp out on the bridge. We're staying here until they open this fence, said Adonis Sanchez, 36, who was traveling with his 3 nephews aged 2, 3, and 14. First off, I'm not going to buy the bullshit that they're his fucking nephews. After seeing how many people were caught bringing kids across the border that weren't even remotely genetically related to them. I'm not going to assume that these are these guys' nephews. These kids are this guy's nephews. Number one. Number two, Adone, you think you're fucking entitled and privileged when you say, we're staying here until they open this fence. Bitch, that's not how it works. That is not how things work. These are the type of people that are coming to the United States. This guy thinks that he's entitled and that they have to open the fence for him. What do you think's going to happen when he enters the United States? He's going to think that he's entitled to free money, free housing, free this, free healthcare, free that, free food, with EBT and free this. That's the type of person that wants to come into the United States. Others return to the Guatemalan side, where shelters have been providing them food and water. Yeah, good. The scene remained tense at the final border barrier, a tall fence of white metal bars. This is fucked up. This goes to show how entitled these fuckers think they are again. Chanting, yes we can, and Mexico, Mexico. Migrants earlier climbed or violently tore down a series of barriers, flooding across the bridge. Yes, they have no respect for any other nation or their laws. They're self-centered. They only think about themselves. Mexico's laws, fuck them. We're just going to ignore them because we want to go to the United States, and then we're going to ignore the laws of the United States because we're special. This is the type of people that are trying to come here. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. At the front of the caravan, one group briefly broke through the final fence before police forced them back and closed it again. Good. Some migrants used a rope to jump off the bridge and swim across the river or hitch a ride on the many rafts that cross it regularly. Yeah. See? They're told they can't cross. They're like, fuck you, I'm still going to cross anyways. These are the type of people that want to come to the United States. Who think they're entitled. Who think they have a right to come here. The type of people that the left likes to hand out free shit to because they'll vote Democrat regardless of citizenship, regardless of legal status. Because they don't care about laws. Defying Trump's threats, various caravans have been traveling by bus or on foot from Honduras, converging in recent days on the town of Tecum, Guatemala, near the border bridge. Authorities in Ciudad Hidalgo, sorry if I'm butchering that, I know I am, on the Mexican side, we're expecting around 3,000 migrants to arrive in total. On Thursday, Trump branded the migrant caravan an onslaught and an assault on our country in a series of typical fiery tweets. And he's right. It is an assault on the country. It's an invasion. It's a mob. They think they're just going to cross across the border and do what the fuck they want. He threatened to cut aid to the region, deploy the military, and close the U.S.-Mexican border if authorities did not stop them. Yeah. And you say it's a threat. It's a fucking promise. He would do that. When he says he's going to do something, he's been pretty consistent. Cutting taxes, for example. So, that's what got their ass in gear. Because they don't want that money that they're getting in to be cut. Because there's a lot of graft and corruption. And the politicians are taking a lot of that money that should be going to improve their country, that should be going to aid in their country. That would be hurting their bottom line. That's why they're actually stepping up. American sovereignty. In Mexico City, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said after meeting his Mexican counterpart that migration across the two countries' borders is reaching a moment of crisis and posing a challenge for American sovereignty. And he's right. He is dead on balls accurate with that. You are literally talking about the second you have no border, for lack of a better way of putting it, or a very porous border. No idea of a line that shouldn't be crossed. People can just come in. You no longer have a nation. Mexican Foreign Minister Luis Vergara, I butchered that, I apologize, insisted Mexico would not cave to pressure to detain the migrants, urging the Trump administration to address the root cause of their northward flight, violent crime and poverty. Now, okay, sorry, I hate to break it to you, Vergara, but it's not Trump's or the United States' responsibility to deal with violent crime and poverty in a country that is not the United States. We have our own problems to worry about. We give, as a nation, a shit ton of aid to you and a bunch of other countries like Guatemala and Honduras, and so on, that are south of the border. And if you fuckers weren't corrupt as all fucking hell, pocketing a lot of that money, those situations could be better addressed. Don't pin this on the United States. And if you don't do what you're going to do, like you should be doing, I should say, what Trump wants you to do, your country going to be fucked, because we can fucking screw you on the trade situation. We can pull the aid that we give you. We can close the border, tell you to fuck off, and what are you going to do then? Except whine, cry, bitch, moan, and complain. Oh, that's right. Nothing besides those things. Mexico's migration policy is for Mexico to decide, he said. Yeah, and you're trying to say that the U.S. shouldn't be able to decide its own immigration policies and that we should just basically accept these fucking people, that you're just going to let them come through to the United States. Because that's what you're kind of implying with this cave to pressure to detain the migrants. What you're saying is we'll just let them flow through to your country. So what you're saying is you want to control your borders, but fuck the United States. Good to know where you stand, Luis. But Mexico has also been keen to show Trump it's working to slow the stream of migrants. Yeah, because they don't want all the money that they get from the United States through trade, through producing goods being produced there and sold in the United States, beyond like the idea of like, say, trade between the two countries, like on goods that like, because like you get the auto industry, like, see, I wouldn't necessarily I would look at that as part of the idea of NAFTA, because you got Ford building vehicles down there and shipping them across. Okay, but like, say, on the idea of goods that are unique to each country, so, you know, tequila, things like that. But yeah, we could fuck you on the trade. And Mexico would be up Schitt's Creek. We could pull the aid. Mexico would be up Schitt's Creek. They like the money. That's why they're slowing things down. The Republican billionaire has made curbing undocumented immigration a keystone of his presidency. Curbing is an understatement. Try stopping. We don't want it. Because of valid things like the cartels, having people come across the border, gangs like MS-13, possible terrorists. I mean, there was a terrorist camp found in Mexico, an ISIS camp, that were training to do, what was this, a year or so ago, but were training to commit attacks on the United States. There's good reason that you want to secure the border and stop just people from flowing across it. Barely a week goes by without him warning about the danger posed by ultra-violent Central American gangs like MS-13, while chants of build the wall are a staple of his campaign rallies ahead of next month's U.S. midterm elections. Now here's the thing. He packs these auditoriums, these civic centers, wherever he goes to speak. And you have everyone chanting, build the wall. And you try to play it like only a small group of people want the wall built. No. A large group of people in the United States, especially legal immigrants, especially, want things like the wall. Okay? Naturalized citizens who came here, went through the hoops, like the people who are trying to become citizens, who are legal residents and immigrated legally, they all want the wall. They all want immigration enforced because they bust their ass to get here. They save up thousands upon thousands of dollars. Put that money out there to get here and then bust their ass to stay here, make a life for themselves, things like that. And they watch these people just stroll across the border, get free shit. Yeah. I mean, like, I know a guy from Guatemala, and I've said this in a couple previous videos. If you could get him accent neutral, throw a sheet on him with a hood, the left could use him as a poster child for, say, white supremacist KKK with the things that he says about Mexicans and Guatemalans and Hondurans. And oh man, it's so funny because he looks at them just coming across the border and he is resentful because he spent 10 grand to come to this country legally, which is not easily come by when you live in a country like Guatemala. You got to bust your ass. That's exactly what he did. He sees these people, they pay a few $1,000s to a coyote, which it's like they got to earn $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 to the coyote. Why not wait a little bit longer when you have 10 grand and apply? That's how he looks at it too. So, I mean, there are a lot of people that want this. There are a lot of people that want to see this stop. There are a lot of people that hope that they just don't let these people continue into the United States. You're not in the majority, Yahoo and AFP, with your writer here. What's her name? Jennifer Gonzalez Caravan. We can tell you're biased with a name like that. But anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm just going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.